When I first thought about it, seriously, my thought of saying, I think I might want to do this, I was in college. I went to the University of St. Thomas. It was all the theology, philosophy I had to take. So part of the curriculum at St. Thomas, a liberal arts education, you got to take so many hours of theology and philosophy. And
yes.
I was always really good at math and science. And so I thought I was going to end up somewhere in the math and science field because I was good at numbers, good at math, good at science. I thought that's where I'm going to go. But then when I got to college and I said, man, my favorite classes are the theology and philosophy. And then I started to ask the question like, okay, my favorite classes are theology, philosophy. I love going to church. I love praying. I love serving at mass. So why don't I start thinking about that? And I did. And I started talking to Basilians at the University of St. Thomas and said, hey, I'm thinking maybe priesthood's for me. And I remember doing a discernment summer between my junior and senior year of college. The Basilians took me up to their place of formation, which is in Toronto.
Oh.
And I got to stay there and live in the house.
How long was
actually,
that?
It was a summer.
A whole
maybe
summer?
6-7 weeks maybe.
Okay.
But I remember being there. So Father Jim Murphy, he's the principal or the, whatever they call it. He's the principal. No, he's at St. Thomas High School.
Oh, okay.
He's a principal or the president, I forget.
Okay.
But anyway, he's working at St. Thomas High School now. But he was a seminarian at the house where I was a discerner. I was a college student.
Oh, wow.
And so I was in Toronto that summer thinking about his priesthood for me. It was a great program the Basilians put together. And it was at the end of that summer that I realized that I think God's asking me to look into this. I think God wants me to be a priest, but I wasn't sure if it was diocesan, religious. And then I had to ask that question, like, okay, God, I think you're calling me to this, and I have to do some more discernment. So the Basilians in their house of formation had a picture inside their front door. And it was the pond that was right across the street from the house. And it was frozen. And I said, what's that? And they said, well, that's that pond outside in the wintertime. It's like that pond freezes and it gets cold enough to, and I was like, man, this is not for me.
This is in Canada.
This is in Canada, Toronto, Canada. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. So that was one thing that I said, I don't know that I could be someplace where it's this cold. And being from Houston, living here, loving the culture here, loving the people here, loving the people that have inspired me and taught me and formed me. I said, I want to get back. And so that's what it ended up being for me.
You didn't look into any other orders?
I did some discernment, but yeah, at that point it was pretty much, to be a Basilian or diocesan? But when I graduated from college, I took a job working in a parish. So I worked at St. John Vianney as a youth minister. And I used that as discernment for me to say, is this something that I could do for the rest of my life?
So you completed your college. And
I did, finished, graduated from college. And then
what was your degree?
I ended up being a liberal arts major, concentrations in biology and theology. So by the time I graduated from college and said, I think God wants me to be a priest, let me see if diocesan priesthood was for me. And I was so thankful because I was at St. John Vianney and Father Morphin was the pastor then, and he knew I was discerning.
Okay.
And so he would bring me along for things that he said, hey, why don't you come? I've got this meeting. Why don't you come and sit in and see if...
He wanted to give you a glimpse
He did, and he gave me a nice little snapshot and like, this is what it could be, and this is something for you. So by the two years working in youth ministry, I knew God was asking me to be a priest, and God was inviting me to apply for the diocese.
That was kind of like a pastoral year of sorts.
Kind of was a pastoral year of sorts, but I loved youth ministry and I love working with youth and the kids and running things like Bible studies and retreats and camping trips. And so I just had a good time.